Xiaowei is a transfer student from a low-income family. The homeroom teacher privately asked us to look after her. So, as her deskmate, I often bring 2 portions of everything to save her face. I often pretend that there's a buy one get one free deal unexpectedly. On the eve of the college entrance exam, Xiaowei stabbed me to death and shouted, "Whatever I want, I'll fight for it myself. Who asked you to give it to me? Everything you give me is exactly the same as what you have. You can't wait for everyone to know that I live off you. Can you? I hate condescending faces like yours the most. All of you die." I died in shock and pain. But when I opened my eyes, I was back in the classroom. When the head teacher was giving us instructions. 1. Xiaoyi's family is not well off, and she's too proud to accept school subsidies, so you classmates should take care of her more in daily life. The head teacher said gently, "Okay, teacher." A few people responded half-heartedly, especially, "You by now, as Xiaoyi's deskmate, you need to take care of her." Seeing that I remained silent, the homeroom teacher specifically called me out. "But teacher, you said she's strong-willed. If we help her, and she feels insulted, what then?" He stepped ahead and asked. The homeroom teacher paused, then said matter-of-factly, "Then can't you be more tactful about it?" "Sorry, teacher, but I'm here to study. The college entrance exam is this semester, and I don't have the energy to look after others. How about I switch seats? Whoever wants to can take my place." The homeroom teacher naturally refused, since I was the wealthiest student in the class, and the ones she called over were all students with decent grades and well-off family backgrounds. "By meow, why are you so unfriendly to your classmates? It's just a little help. How much effort could it take?" "Teacher, I'm just a student. Poverty alleviation isn't my responsibility since the school's financial aid was refused. Who am I to force my way in? How can you talk like that? Forget it. Go. You really have no sense of camaraderie." I couldn't wait to leave, but as I walked out the door, I still heard from inside, "All right, don't follow her example. Being classmates is fate, so everyone should help whenever they can." I let out a scoff and walked straight out. With the college entrance exam coming up and time so tight, why bother with such unnecessary concerns? No wonder after being a homeroom teacher for so many years, the students I've taught have only gotten worse. With each passing year, after arriving at the classroom, the other students in the class were diligently working on practice problems. I also returned to my seat, seizing every second, without sparing even a glance at Xiaowei beside me, even when she ran out of ink in her pen, and her pencil broke, sighing and groaning over there. I didn't say a word until she came over on her own. "By meow, I can use my pen anymore. Can I borrow one?" I put away the box full of new pens and replied calmly, "Sorry, I don't have any extra pens." She stared at the box I had just put away. "By meow, don't you have so many new pens here?" "Oh, I bought too many and need to return them." "What? You want one? I can sell it to you at the original price. $10 each." In the end, she sheepishly turned to borrow from someone else. Not willing to spend money, but still wanting to borrow. How would that work out? Wouldn't it just be using them for free? In my previous life, as soon as the homeroom teacher said that I would agree along with everyone else, after returning to the classroom and seeing Xiaoyi's embarrassment, I took the initiative to give her all the new stationery I had bought. I even lied to her, saying it was a buy one get one free deal, with extras I couldn't use, and that it would go to waste if she didn't take it off my hands. But after she took it, she used it, without hesitation. Yet, not only did she not say a single word of thanks, she even looked humiliated at the time. Thinking about what the homeroom teacher had said, I didn't take it to heart. I even wondered if I had done something wrong, and hurt her pride now. If I don't give it, they come directly to ask for it. Could it be that what's offered freely is considered cheap, while what's begged for is precious? Living a second life? I don't want to be that brainless fool who offers herself up anymore. If I let her take even a single strand of hair's worth of advantage in this life, then I've lived in vain. 2. After evening self-study, I returned to the dorm, washed up, got into bed, and slept, ignoring everything. Get good rest to have the energy to study better. I heard my roommate's conversation in a daze. Oh, Xiaowei, you're out of toothpaste. Use mine. And there's toner. And lotion. I haven't used the set yet. Here. Take it. I didn't hear Xiaoyi's reply, but I guess she still took it. With a look of humiliation, I turned over facing the wall and continued sleeping. Early the next morning, while my roommate was still asleep, I got up early. As I was washing up, Xiaowei also came in. It was early spring, and still a bit cold, but she washed with cold water. I simply pretended not to see, and poured out all the hot water from the thermos, with a gurgling sound, comfortably wiping myself clean from face to neck. I then turned and headed to the cafeteria. Not surprising at all. Xiaowei followed me to the cafeteria again. I ordered soy milk, fried dough sticks, and steamed buns, while she just had a bowl of plain songani, with free side dishes. Neither of us spoke, and she deliberately sat across from me. After all, we were in the same class, and the same dormitory, so it wasn't easy for me to just get up and leave. After eating, we returned to the classroom one after the other. As we were about to arrive, I heard her call out from behind. "Bai Miao, do you have a problem with me?" I turned around, with a puzzled look. "Why would I then? Why aren't you talking or showing any concern for me?" she asked, sounding quite sincere. I was at a loss for words. "Who owes you anything? Shall we?" That's quite a thing to say. I've always been like this. And besides, we're not that close. We're in our final year of high school, so let's focus on our studies. With that, I turned and went into the classroom. In my past life, I acted like a total S. If I saw she needed something, I wouldn't even wait for her to say a word. I'd just hand over what I had and buy another one for myself later. There are 4 people in the dorm, but the other 2 never even get a chance to show themselves. They just praised me for being generous and for being united and caring toward my classmates. The 3 of us were naive and sweet, completely brainwashed by the homeroom teacher, all thinking that Xiaowei's silence was just her being shy. Little did we know that, while she used our things, she was secretly harboring resentment. I really can't stand even a single word with her in this lifetime. Unexpectedly, this person is hypocritical and utterly insufferable. During morning self-study, I was used to plugging in earplugs and memorizing English, fully immersed, when suddenly, my desk was tapped a few times. Looking up, I saw the homeroom teacher, with a displeased expression. "Bai Miao, come with me to the office." I had no idea what was going on, but when I got there, I found Xia also present, her eyes red, and clearly having been crying. "What's wrong with that now? Bai Miao, didn't I tell you to get along well with your new classmate and take good care of her? Look at what you've done." I was stunned. "Teacher, what did I do?" As her deskmate, you ignore her, and when you see a classmate in trouble, you don't help. You need to understand that studying is important, but being a decent person is even more important. With a personality like yours, what future can you have once you leave school? The homeroom teacher directly resorted to personal attacks, but at least she was mindful of the other teachers nearby, so she spoke very quietly. I shot back loudly. "Teacher, how exactly did I ignore her? What kind of trouble did she have that required my help? And what's wrong with my character?" For a moment, all the other teachers in the office turned to look. The homeroom teacher's face turned pale and red, stubborn and unyielding. "I can't reason with you. Call your parents." "Teacher, how is it that we can't reason? If we're calling my parents, we need to explain clearly why they should come." My voice was really loud at that moment. The grade leader came over. "What's going on?" 3. I spoke up before the homeroom teacher could. "Teacher, our homeroom teacher says I'm indifferent to classmates, that I don't help when I see someone in trouble, that I have poor character, and my education is wasted. But I haven't done any of that, and I don't know what I did wrong." The homeroom teacher won't explain, just says to call my parents. "Mr. Wu, is this true?" The grade leader looked at the homeroom teacher suspiciously. The homeroom teacher was momentarily at a loss for words at that moment. Shai began to sob. "I'm sorry, teacher. It's just that I'm too sensitive. In the past couple of days, It seems like Bao has a problem with me. When I asked to borrow a pen, she clearly had extras, but refused to lend me one. She ignores me in the dorm. And when we go out together, she doesn't say a word. I thought it was because she looked down on me for being poor, and I felt a bit upset. That's when the homeroom teacher noticed and asked about it. The teacher quickly came over to comfort her. Shy, don't be sad. It's not your fault. There are people in this society who favor the rich and despise the poor. By meow. Look at what you've done. Seriously, do these two have a problem? I was utterly dumbfounded. Shiwei wants to be strong, and she also loudly broadcasts her family's poverty for everyone to know. Then she expects everyone to revolve around her. And the key point is that the homeroom teacher just made this conclusion outright. So you're saying I got stuck with this deskmate, so I'm supposed to take care of her and be the scapegoat? Thinking back to my past life, the worst part was that after being the scapegoat, she still held a grudge against me. What a psycho! Clearly even the grade head felt something was off. He cleared his throat. Teacher Wu, how can you evaluate a student like this? Regardless, you should at least let Bao explain. I cleared my throat. Teacher, those pens were all newly bought by me and never used. I was planning to return them. She has said she wanted them, so I sold them to her at the original price. But then she changed her mind. What's wrong with that? Besides, after a whole day of studying, I'm exhausted. When I get back to the dorm, I just wash up and go to sleep. I don't have the time or energy to deal with anyone, and she didn't even talk to me. So, how is it my fault? Again, as for the part about going out, I was walking ahead and didn't even notice anyone. There's no school rule that says you have to walk backward and greet everyone along the way. After this rebuttal, the homeroom teacher's face turned red with anger. By meow, didn't I tell you all to take good care of Shai? You should be more proactive. Look at how you're acting now. At this point, even the grade leader couldn't stand it anymore. Teacher Wu, you're being biased. I think Bai Meow's point is valid. All right, these are all minor issues. What's important now is studying and preparing for the college entrance exam. Everyone go back. The grade leader made the final call, putting an end to this farce. Over the next few days, Xia and I entered a phase of completely ignoring each other. I brought up changing seats with the homeroom teacher a few more times, but she just wouldn't agree. Every time she wanted to scold me. But since the grade head was in the same office, she had to hold back during class. Though, the homeroom teacher always used me as a negative example and made snide remarks. My roommate and other classmates asked me privately what was going on, and I didn't hold back. In this life, I won't be the sucker or the unlucky one anymore. But I can't go around harming others either. Still, there are always those who, under the homeroom teacher's guidance, end up overflowing with compassion. I can't control that. I've said all I needed to say at the time. I thought my stance was clear enough, so there wouldn't be any more trouble. But then at the following parent-teacher meeting, the homeroom teacher pulled off a big one for it was Parents' Day, which happened to fall on a Friday. So both my mom and dad came living life anew. The first time I saw them, I couldn't help but burst into tears while hugging them, thinking about how I just disappeared like that in my previous life. How heartbroken they must have been. I was their only child. My parents ran a small business, and our family was fairly well off. Hadn't been spoiled by them since I was little. I had never experienced the harshness of human nature. In particular, my parents often taught me, do not stop doing good deeds because they are small, and do not commit evil deeds because they are small. That's why in my previous life, I was so obedient as soon as the homeroom teacher said to take care of Shai this life. Forget about taking care of anyone. Seeing me cry, Mom and Dad got worried. Meow meow. What's wrong? Who bullied you? It's nothing. Dad. Mom. I just miss home. Oh my, you're this big, and still crying over missing home. Aren't you embarrassed? Dad teased me. Mom, however, seemed thoughtful. You're about to take the college entrance exam. At this rate, you won't take good care of yourself at school. How about becoming a day student instead? Great, I agreed, without hesitation. If time weren't so tight, I would have wanted to switch schools altogether. After entering the classroom, the homeroom teacher soon started the parent-teacher meeting. The process was the same as always, starting with grades. I did well this time, ranking second in the class, which made Mom and Dad quite satisfied. But the homeroom teacher just glossed over it and instead lavished praise on Shai, who ranked 10th, saying that although she came from a poor family, she was ambitious despite her poverty, and despite the difficult conditions at home, she still overcame challenges to achieve a good result of 10th place. Then he started being sarcastic. Unlike some students, who may have good grades, but don't understand the importance of helping each other, such students will have no future in society. I saw Shai's parents, an ordinary couple, flushed with excitement, clearly very approving of the homeroom teacher's words. As for my parents and the others, they were a bit confused, but still followed the homeroom teacher's lead and applauded. She away, and her parents stood up amid sparse applause, bowing in all directions. To that, I rolled my eyes, wanting to give them just 2 words. Idiots. I thought the parent-teacher meeting would end like this. As long as the homeroom teacher didn't call anyone out by name, I couldn't be bothered to deal with her. In just a few months, the exams would be here. After that, whatever. However, I didn't expect that after the meeting. She kept both my family and Shia's family behind. Then right in front of everyone, she started scolding my parents. By Meow's parents. You really need to discipline your child properly. Not only does she refuse to help her classmates at school, but she also takes the lead in isolating others. This is bullying. My parents were utterly stunned by her words. They looked at me, then at the teacher, clearly not believing it. Teacher Wu, what exactly do you mean by that? My father asked. Dad of Bei Miao. This is Xie, a financially disadvantaged student who transferred to our school this semester. She is also your daughter's deskmate and roommate. Her family wasn't well off to begin with. So, I asked your daughter to be more considerate, but she just ignored it and even went around bad-mouthing Xiaowei. Now, the whole class has a negative opinion of Xiaowei because of her. TSK. This daughter of yours. I called you here this time to properly handle this matter. An apology where it's due also, since Bai Miao has affected Xiaowei's learning environment. Compensation should be made as well. My dad was stunned by this. He looked at me and asked, "What's going on?" I had already been dumbfounded once. This homeroom teacher's absurd reasoning was beyond me. The key point is that Shia's family acted as if it were only natural. I just don't understand. The previous generation was all about moral blackmail, while also trying to have it both ways. Back then, I was praised by the homeroom teacher in front of the whole class, saying I was not only good at studying, but also united, caring, and helpful to classmates. And then my parents were kept behind to sponsor Xiaowei. I chimed in at that point, although my dad still didn't fully understand since it was just a small amount of money. He agreed anyway. I'm not putting up with this in this lifetime. Is the homeroom teacher completely shameless, directly helping with a blatant robbery? 5. I can't even be bothered to argue with these idiots anymore. I just said to my dad, "Dad, the grade leader knows about this. Let's just go talk to him directly," without waiting for the homeroom teacher to stop me. I took my parents and went straight to find the grade leader. After the grade leader heard the full story from me, his expression was somewhat complicated. By Meow, I understand the situation now. I'll have a proper talk with your homeroom teacher. You can go back to class with peace of mind. Peace of mind? My ass. I brought my parents here not to hear that. I laid it all out to the grade leader. Teacher, I really don't understand why my homeroom teacher always thinks I'm in the wrong and insists I have to help others. This isn't the first time they've targeted me over this, and it's seriously affecting my study environment. The grade leader, recalling my grades, asked, "So, what do you want?" "Teacher, I want to switch classes and apply for day student status so I can focus on preparing for exams." My parents also pressured him from the side after hearing the whole story. No parent would be happy seeing their child treated like this. In the end, the grade leader agreed, transferring me from class 3 to class 1 and processing the day student application at the same time unexpectedly. Upon receiving the news, the homeroom teacher rushed over immediately, followed by Shio's family. Team leader, why are you transferring by me to class 1? She's ranked second in our class, and will definitely perform well in the college entrance exam if she transfers out. Won't that drag down our class's average score? The homeroom teacher suddenly became anxious, as if she only cared about forcing students to be united, friendly, helpful, and supportive of the underprivileged. This was by Miao's own request, after considering the current situation comprehensively. Ignoble, the grade leader replied calmly, but the homeroom teacher disagreed. Team leader, I haven't given up on educating someone. With Bao's character, I've put so much effort into her. How can she just be transferred out like that? Wouldn't all my hard work be wasted? Besides, she hasn't made up for the harm she caused Shio. Not knowing the full story before, my dad now understood the details behind it all, and upon hearing this, he immediately exploded. Teacher Wu, we respect you as a teacher, but how can you twist the facts and casually label students? Do you realize that your reckless words could ruin a student's life? The homeroom teacher retorted by Miao's father. How am I talking nonsense? By Miao did bully her classmates. Teacher Wu, please watch your words, and don't jump to conclusions. If it's bullying, that's a very serious matter. Since everyone is here, let's clarify things. The grade leader interrupted the homeroom teacher, his expression stern, and so the two families along, with the two teachers sat down. We had all spoken earlier except for Shio's family, so the grade leader directly asked, Shio, could you tell us specifically what teacher Wu referred to as bullying? Shio said, with righteous indignation, I know my family is poor, and by Miao looks down on me. The grade leader interrupted her, signaling her to get to the specifics. Xiaoi began listing. Bio saw what I was missing, but never offered to help. I suppressed a smirk. The homeroom teacher said from the start that you're strong-willed, and even refused school subsidies. If I rushed to help you, wouldn't that be an insult? Xiaoi held her head high. Exactly. I may be poor, but I have pride, and I won't accept handouts. Rest assured. The great leader patiently continued, and then Xiaoi finally got to the point. You never actually helped me, so why did you say things in front of the classmates, making everyone else refuse to help me? This string of accusations nearly confused the grade leader. So, Xiaoi, do you want your classmates to help you or not? 6. This question left Xia speechless. I knew what she was thinking, so I eagerly explained. Teacher, it should be that she'll accept what we offer voluntarily, and we also have to give what she asks. For right as soon as I finished, she bristled. What are you saying? How could I be that kind of person? Then why are you making such a fuss claiming I'm bullying you? Seeing Shai about to be overwhelmed, the homeroom teacher stepped in to take sides again. By Miao, how can you talk like that? As classmates, you should help each other. If someone is in need, you should offer help voluntarily. And if they come to you for help, you should respond. Is there a problem? With that, her parents also chimed in. Our family may be poor, but we have backbone. How could Shai covet your things? She's just upset about your attitude. Your condescending, contemptuous attitude is bullying. My parents hearing this wouldn't back down. Did my daughter say anything wrong? If you don't want it, then stop complaining. You think it's charity that hurts your pride, yet you still want us to give. Who knows what you really want? Seeing the endless argument, with no resolution, the grade leader was exasperated. All right, everyone has different perceptions. These arguments are pointless. He looked at us. I've already agreed to Bao's request. On this point, Teacher Wu, don't raise any objections. Making a scene like this, and still being deskmates is bad for everyone. Then he turned to Shio's family. I still haven't understood your request. Could you be specific? Shio's father said, with an air of pride, just as Teacher Wu said. Let Bao apologize to our Shai, and compensate us for emotional damages. My father laughed in anger. First an apology, then compensation. And earlier you mentioned bullying. How about this? Let's just call the police. The other side looked flustered for a moment. There's no need to call the police. After all, they're just kids. We can handle it ourselves. My father ignored them and pulled out his phone, but the grade leader managed to calm things down. At this point, The homeroom teacher again criticized my family for being inconsiderate. Bao's father. I originally thought Bao's character was bad enough, but I didn't expect it runs in the family. As parents, you shouldn't just focus on making money. You should improve yourselves and set a good example for your child. This time, even the grade leader couldn't help but reprimand. Teacher Wu, do you know what you're saying? Apologize to Ba Miao and her family immediately. The homeroom teacher stubbornly insisted she was right. My parents and I exchanged a glance, confirmed. This homeroom teacher isn't just classist, but also mentally unstable. No wonder she was so eager to make me play the Psy. However, seeing how righteous the teacher pretended to be, I suddenly had an idea. Teacher, you're right. Our family just lacks awareness. But since you're so morally upright, why don't you step up and bring some warmth to Xiawei and her family? That way, everyone's happy. Besides, you're the homeroom teacher. If a student gets into trouble, you're the one primarily responsible. So the apologies and compensation should be on you. I thought to myself, how stupid had I been before? 2 lifetimes. And this woman only ever knew how to manipulate others, with guilt trips, while giving nothing herself. The homeroom teacher's face stiffened. Xiawei doesn't need the school subsidy, and I respect that, which is why I asked you classmates to help. But Xiawei's parents, seeing that we were unmoved, and having heard what I said, had already set their sights on the homeroom teacher. Teacher Wu, we really appreciate you. Seeing how much you care about Kiwi, we feel relieved. Xia, from now on, if you have any difficulties, be sure to tell Teacher Wu. Xiawei still looked stubborn, but her eyes turned to the homeroom teacher. Dad, Mom, I'll fight for what I want myself. I don't need anyone's charity. Hearing this line, identical to what she said in my past life, I couldn't help but curl my lips. I wanted to see how she would fight with the homeroom teacher this time around. 7. After that, everything went smoothly for me. After being transferred to Class 1, the current homeroom teacher is much more sensible than Teacher Wu. They wholeheartedly create an excellent learning environment for us and never cause any trouble. As a result, the atmosphere for studying in the class is very strong. And in this environment, my grades have improved again. In the last mock exam, I ranked first in the entire school. After learning this news, Teacher Wu was utterly devastated. I heard she went to the grade leader to complain, saying that I was taught by her, and demanding that I return to Class 3. The grade leader has never been fond of Teacher Wu since that time he settled the case for us. Now he won't even bother, with her directly stating that if she doesn't want to teach properly, she should be replaced. Only then did Teacher Wu calm down. I also switched to being a day student. And, without needing to go home, every day my parents took good care of me. I said I didn't need to stay in that dormitory anymore. I felt much happier, and even gained some weight. But occasionally, when I ran into my former roommates, they didn't seem to be in a good state. One day after a meal, I bumped into them, and we chatted for a while. By Meow, I still envy you for not having to live in the dorm. My home is far away, so commuting isn't convenient. Me, too. I was puzzled. What's wrong? Living on campus makes studying more convenient. Isn't that better? Their expressions instantly became complicated. Now we finally understand why you didn't bother with Xia back then. You warned us, but we didn't listen. Sigh. What happened? That didn't seem right last time. Xia seemed to have set her sights on Teacher Wu. How could she be causing trouble for someone else now? The two of them continued. Our previous homeroom teacher told us to take care of her, and we really did our best. But she took advantage of us and never showed any gratitude, especially after your situation came to light. We felt disheartened and stopped paying her much attention. Then she came to us on her own, demanding this and that. When we refused, she accused us of looking down on her, and the homeroom teacher forced us to apologize. Damn, she's still the same. Teacher Wu has once again turned the boomerang on someone else. Thinking about my own fate in my past life, I felt a bit of sympathy and warned them if it gets too much, you can do what I did. Switch classes or dorms. The college entrance exam is what matters. They listened, looking thoughtful. After that, I heard that something big happened in Class 3. More than half the students jointly reported to the principal demanding the homeroom teacher be replaced on the grounds that she had been using psychological manipulation to force students to help a financially disadvantaged classmate, seriously disrupting everyone's studies. At this time, everything gave way to the college entrance exam. The principal immediately removed Teacher Wu from her post and told her to stay at home for a while. When the notice was issued, Teacher Wu cried and made a scene in the office, and in the end, she was forcibly escorted away by security. My 2 former roommates eventually managed to change dormitories. As for Shai, she truly began to be isolated by her classmates. It didn't amount to bullying. Who has the time for that later? Somehow or other, she and Teacher Wu ended up together. She was told to stay at home, but Teacher Wu, using the excuse of taking care of Shiawei, still went to the school every few days. Seeing that she wasn't causing trouble, the principal had the grade leader keep an eye on her, just making sure she didn't affect the students. Then I saw Teacher Wu, just like me in my past life, eagerly giving Shia this and that. She also told everyone to do well in the exam, to show us bad students with poor character a thing or two. I looked at Shiawei's stiff face. Oh ho! Who knows? Who will be the one to show who a thing or two when the time comes? 8. After that, I didn't have the leisure to watch the excitement anymore. Nothing is bigger than the college entrance exam. However, I still ran into Xiaoi's family and Teacher Wu when entering the exam hall. At that time, Teacher Wu was carrying a bunch of stuff for Shai, chattering away about who knows what. Xia's parents stood by the side, looking more like outsiders. I didn't really want to go over there, but they were blocking the doorway. But as soon as I walked over, they spotted me. Teacher Wu perked up immediately. By meow, even if you came first in the mock exam in your grade. So what? Grades are only a part of life. What matters most is character. A cold-blooded person like you, who lacks camaraderie and love for classmates, will never amount to anything. Then she turned to praise Shai. Now look at our Shahai. She's truly admirable, rising through adversity, working hard despite her poverty. That's a positive attitude toward life. Shiawei cooperated, looking proud. I paused for a moment. A face offered up for a slap shouldn't be wasted. Teacher Wu, what rank did Xia get in the mock exam? I believe it was 100th in the grade. Right. That should be enough for a 3rd-tier college. Will you help cover her tuition fees? Teacher, ignoring Teacher Wu's darkened expression and Xiaoi's humiliated look, I calmly walked into the exam hall. After 3 tense days passed, I went home and slept like a log. When the results came out, as expected, not only did I rank first in the school, but I became the top scorer in the province. My home was bustling for many days, and when it came time to fill out my college preferences, I chose Tsinghua University. I didn't have the chance in my past life, but now this is worth it. It's just a pity that Shiawei, who did bad things in my past life, I couldn't get my revenge on her. I thought I would never have anything to do with them again. But one day, just before I was about to report to university, my dad said someone was looking for me. Who is it? Shall we from your old class 3? Grade 12? Holy crap. What does that lunatic want? Dad, I'm not seeing her. She's crazy, and you should be careful. 2. My dad just smiled and didn't take it seriously. Something really did happen. When we got the call from the hospital, both my mom and I were scared out of our wits. We rushed over in a hurry, and my dad even laughed at us for making a big deal out of nothing. Seeing his bandaged arm, I burst into tears immediately. Dad, does it hurt? Well, it does hurt a bit. All right. It's just a small injury. Why are you scaring me like that? How did it happen? My mom said irritably. I regret not listening to Miaya back then. It was all because of that Shai. She went crazy, rushed at me, and stabbed me all, while shouting that it was our fault for not helping her. Is she out of her mind? Where is she now? My mom immediately got angry. I was angry, too. Who does she think she is? Why does she have to come after my family like that? My dad continued. I kicked her right then and there. She passed out, and then I called the police to have her taken away. Later, the police came to take statements, and only then did we feel at ease. Xiaoi's actions amounted to intentional injury. while my dad was just acting in self-defense. Assault causing injury doesn't get you a long sentence. At the time, I wish that person could be locked up for life. But what the police said next left us a bit shocked. 9. It turns out my dad wasn't the first victim. Xiaowei had stabbed Teacher Wu before him. Teacher Wu wasn't as lucky as my dad. He's still in the ICU and hasn't woken up. I broke out in a cold sweat upon hearing this. My mother couldn't help but curse. That Teacher Wu of yours may not be a good person. But back then, she helped this Xia quite a bit. How can this person not tell right from wrong and go on a rampage like this? I could roughly guess what was going on. It was nothing more than the same old story from my past life. Afterward, what happened next confirmed my suspicions. The police came to ask for my help, saying that Xiaowei wanted to see me, or else she would refuse to confess. I also wanted to know about her and Teacher Wu. So, I went through the iron bars. I spoke directly. All right, why did you want to see me? Xia stared straight at me. Why are you still alive? It should have been you. Who died? My eyes widened. Was she crazy? Are you out of your mind? Xia, don't you know? Wu Yu Weihut. Teacher Wu is still lying in the hospital. And so is my dad. Haha. Teacher Wu. She deserves it. If it weren't for her, you would have been the one bringing me things back in high school. Your stuff is new and nice. Unlike her, clearly stingy, yet pretending to be generous. The things she gives are all worn out and shabby, and she keeps manipulating me into feeling grateful. If it weren't for her, you wouldn't have drifted away from me. In the end, I could hardly stay in my class. My grades dropped, and that's why I ended up at a third-tier college. College tuition is so expensive. How can my family afford it at a time like this? She refuses to take care of me. Why didn't she do this earlier? Who asked her to meddle? Who asked for her fake kindness? She deserves to die, she mumbled wildly, almost as if talking to herself. But the content made my hair stand on end. Could Xia have been reborn? 2. Just then, she suddenly rushed over and reached her hand through the iron bars. By meow. Is it you? You've been reborn all along. So all this is your doing. Holy crap. That scared me. No way I'd admit to something like that. Are you crazy? I said, then walked off, ignoring whatever she was yelling behind me. Later, I heard from the police that Xiaowei had gone insane in prison. I don't care if she's truly crazy or faking it, as long as she's not let out. But the matters outside didn't come to an end just because Xiaowei was taken in. She was under 18 when she committed the stabbing. Still a minor. My dad and Teacher Wu both need compensation, and her parents are the ones who have to cover it. My dad's side is fine, but we just can't swallow this insult. Even if Xiaowei's parents kneel before us, we still have to demand the compensation we're owed. As for Teacher Wu, there's no need to even mention her. She now needs a huge amount of medical expenses every day, and she barely has any herself. Teacher Wu's family is no pushover either, but Xiaowei's parents simply can't come up with the money. The two sides go back and forth every day, bickering and making a fuss. But none of this is any of my business. It was only when my former senior classmates called for donations that I reluctantly chipped in $100. My parents even thought I was being stingy. But if they knew that their daughter was brainwashed by this person in her past life and ended up losing her life because of it, they probably wouldn't have given a single cent. Although the incident with Shia's past, it has sparked intense reactions online. Some media outlets approached me and asked, by meow, we heard you were Shia's former deskmate and roommate. What advice do you have for your classmates regarding what has happened to her now? After thinking carefully, I had only 12 words. Let go of the urge to help others and respect their own fate. Story 2. My sister was imprisoned by a gloomy and possessive CEO. I disguised myself as a maid, sneaked into the villa, and tried to help my sister escape. The main gate was right in front of us, but my sister let go of my hand and sobbed loudly. Sister, you go ahead. I can't drag you and our brother down. The domineering CEO at the stairwell licked his lips and said darkly, anyone who tries to tear us apart deserves to die. The brother waiting at the entrance was dragged out of the car and had one of his legs broken. My eyes were gouged out. My sister trembled in the CEO's arms on the verge of tears. and pleaded, "Please spare them. I'll agree to anything you ask." The corners of his eyes held a triumphant smile. The domineering CEO wiped away her tears. With heartache, "All right, as long as you behave." My brother and I were abandoned halfway up the mountain. Left to die. My brother clenched my hand tightly and murmured, "Why? We could have escaped." My eyes were gouged out. Yet, I could see everything clearly. Because we must fail. Only in this way could my sister act righteously and sacrifice herself for others. When I opened my eyes again, I had returned to the day I tried to escape with my sister. Sang, "Have you really come to save me? I haven't spoiled you for nothing." Shin Waning gripped my hand tightly, her eyes sparkling with excitement. The scorching sunlight shone directly into my eyes. They felt slightly sore and swollen. I rolled my eyes. Tears welled up and spilled over. "My eyes are still here. Still here." Shin Waning held me tightly, choking back so as she said, Sang, "Don't cry. Our family will be reunited soon." His brother arrived. I clenched my fists tightly, speaking with difficulty. "He's here, waiting right outside the door." Shin Waning glanced at the clock on the wall, her face full of excitement. "Good. Once Shah Sahan falls asleep, we'll leave." I suddenly spoke up, my eyes fixed intently on Shin Waning. Following the script, Shin Waning was taken aback, forcing an unnatural smile. "What plot are you tired?" I could never understand it. "Shin Waning, why are you so cruel?" That year, when I was 7, my parents died in a car accident. The three of us were left to rely on each other. My brother tore up the admission letter and said indifferently, "College degrees aren't worth much these days. Working on a construction site is easier." And Shin Yuan's high school tuition was earned by my brother, brick by brick. I wasn't as academically gifted as Shin Waning. After graduating from high school, I started working in a factory. My brother and I supported Shin Waning through college. On the day of Shin Waning's graduation, she caught the eye of Fu Han, who took her away and imprisoned her. Even though Fu Han held immense power, and even though my brother and I were insignificant and powerless, we don't want Shin Waning to be humiliated either. But how did Shin Waning repay this? She personally planned the escape route, swearing it was foolproof. Yet at the final moment, she single-handedly shattered all hope. She pushed my brother and me into the abyss. Then she played the part of a good person, begging Fu Yuan to spare us. I thought Shin Yuaning was timid and foolish. It was only after death that I understood. It turns out the world I live in is a novel about a Yandris CEO chasing his wife. My brothers and my lives are merely meant to add a touch of tragedy to the love story of the main characters. And in the end, the male and female leads will still let go of their deep-seated hatred and live happily ever after. My brother and I are just tools. We're just part of the male and female leads play. How could Shin Yuaning have feelings for tools? Shin Waning stroked my hair and said gently, "Get ready. We'll leave at 8 o'clock. This is the key to the main door." A hypocritical smile, devoid of any genuine emotion. I took it, nodding, with a smile. "Sister, you will surely get what you wish for." The door was pushed open, and Jose Han roared of alcohol, his steps unsteady. Shin Waning hurriedly stood up and supported Zhe-Han. "Why did you drink so much? Don't you know your stomach isn't good?" I glanced at their tightly clasped hands. Was Shin Waning really noticed by Zhao Shihan by chance? Zhao Shihan sneered, pinching Shin Yuan's chin. "Concerned about me, you wretched woman. Tell me, is Xian still in your heart?" Before the door closed, I saw Shin Waning lift her head stubbornly. "Zhao Sahan, you're insane." The corners of her eyes were red like a white flower whipped by a violent storm. Moments later, the sound of fabric tearing came from the room. What a perverted sense of possessiveness. I walked into the kitchen and focused on preparing the ingredients, but the name Sia Shuren kept flashing through my mind. Just like in all those domineering CEO novels, Sia Shuren is the devoted second male lead, who loves, but cannot have at the same time. He is the male lead's arch-rival. He is kind, warm, and righteous, the complete opposite of the ruthless male lead. What becomes of Sia Shuren? In the end, Zhao Sahan's white moonlight has returned. Shin Waning, heartbroken and devastated, sought refuge with Cyan. Sia Shuren was overjoyed. In the end, Shinuaning stole the new drug developed by the Sia family and handed it over to Zhao Cyan, pushing the endangered SI family into the abyss. Everything was Zhao Sahan's scheme. Using Xin Wanning as bait, he swallowed the SIA group, without a single soldier. Xin Wanning tearfully begged Sia Xian for forgiveness. Zhao Cyan told me it was just a game. I didn't mean to. Cyan's family was destroyed, and his life ruined. In the end, he died on New Year's Eve. On the same day, Xin Wanning and Zhao Sahan held a grand wedding. Xin Wanning does not remember Xian, who froze to death under the overpass, just as she does not remember my brother, and me, who died halfway up the mountain. This is not fair. I will make Xin Wanning and Zhao Cyan pay, with their blood. Sang sang. Why is your hand bleeding? Mama Wu exclaimed, grabbing my hand and gently blowing on it. Does it hurt? Only then did I snap back to reality. Overwhelmed by hatred, I had been so distracted that I accidentally cut my own hand. I shook my head and spoke softly. It's nothing. Aunt Will gave me a reproachful look and said, with concern, a young lady like, you shouldn't have any scars. Go rest in the living room. I'll take care of the cooking. Unable to refuse, I went to the living room. Half an hour later, Aunt Wu brought 3 dishes and a soup up to the second floor. Passing by me, Aunt Wu whispered, there's a bowl of chicken soup left for you in the kitchen. Look how thin you've gotten. My heart warmed. Thank you, Aunt Wu. A moment later, the sound of dishes clattering came from the second floor. Aunt Wu was kicked down the stairs, the scalding chicken soup splashing all over her. A blister formed. Zhao Sahan's face darkened. Who told you to come in? You've ruined my moment. Shen Wanning wrapped in a bed sheet hid behind Zhao Shihan and said pitifully, my body has been seen by someone. Else I don't want to live anymore. Zhao Sahan held Xin Wanning and comforted her gently. Shall I gouge out her eyes for you? And Wu struggled to get up, saying in terror, Sir, it was you who said dinner should be delivered exactly at 6. You also said that if it was late, we would all be buried. With Miss Shun. Sir, I was only following orders. And Wu's forehead was swollen, and her clothes were soaked in spilled soup, without any dignity. Is this the life of ordinary people in domineering CEO novels? Shinuaning grabbed Zhao Sayan's hand and said in a trembling voice, don't do this. I'm scared. And Wu didn't mean it either. Just deduct 2 months' salary. Sha Saihan rubbed Xin Yuan's head and smiled helplessly. All right. Ning Ning is truly kind-hearted. Maid Wu crouched on the ground, her face ashen. No, sir. Please don't. My daughter is still waiting for the money to buy medicine. Don't deduct my pay. You can hit me, scold me, do anything you want. Sahan turned a deaf ear and carried Xin Wanning back into the house. I helped Mrs. Wu up and comforted her softly. Mrs. Wu, don't be afraid. I have money. I'll give it to you. Mrs. Wu, with tears in her eyes, said, thank you. Sang sang. I'll pay you back when I get my salary. I stared at the tightly closed door on the second floor. Zhao Sahan will never have the day to pay anyone's salary. I insist on resisting this numb and unfeeling plot. Even an ant can shake a tree at 8 in the evening. Xin Wanning came to my room, unable to hide her excitement. Sang Sunga Sahan is asleep. Let's go. I tightly grasped Xin Wanning's hand, beaming with joy. All right. All the way. Xin Wanning kept turning her head to look back. In my previous life, I thought she was afraid that Zhao Shihan would wake up and find out. In this life, I finally understood. She was afraid that Zhao Sahan wouldn't notice the gate was right in front of us. Xin Wanning struggled to break free from my grasp, shouting, Sister, you! I covered Xin Yuan's mouth and yelled loudly, Mister, Joe has been so good to you. How could you run away? Sister, I'm so disappointed in you. Xin Wanning slapped my hand hard, her eyes filled with terror. Zhao Sahan walked up to me, a flicker of surprise in his eyes. You're not here to break us up. I released Xin Wanning, tears streaming down my face. Mister, I'm here to keep an eye on Xin Wanning. You provide her with food, drink, and all her needs, yet all she thinks about is running away. She is truly ungrateful. Cyan raised an eyebrow his tone dangerous. Fortunately, you've come to your senses. I shuddered all over. So it was no coincidence at all. Zhao Sahan knew about my relationship with Xin Yuning from the very first day I stepped into the villa. Xin Weining's eyes reened at the corners as she choked out, "My brother cares about me. He's right outside waiting for me." Zhao Sahan sneered and waved his hand dismissively. The next moment, my brother was dragged in. My palms were sweating. Xin Weining, her eyes brimming with tears, tugged at Zhou Xian's sleeve. "Let my brother go now." Zhao Sahan paid no attention. The brother struggled and shouted, "Brother, is this how you treat your wife's elder brother?" Xin Weining's sobbing paused abruptly as she looked up in disbelief. Zhao Sahan froze, his eyes reflecting a mix of 3 parts coldness, 3 parts surprise, and 4 parts joy. "What did you call me?" My brother brushed the dust off his clothes and walked over to Xin Yuning, speaking earnestly. "Warning, stop making a scene." Chapter 2. My brother-in-law is handsome and wealthy. Why go to such lengths to run away? Xin Weining stood, with her mouth agape, her gaze shifting between me and my brother. "No, that's not how it is. You should take me away, and then be." Xin Weining quickly shut her mouth, but her trembling body revealed her terror at that moment. "Just one thing different from the script. And you're this flustered. What will you do in the future?" I squeezed out tears, took out my phone, and handed it to Zhao Xian. Inside were the chat records between me and Xin Weining. "Brother-in-law, both my brother and I agree with you being with Sister Wanning, but my sister is unwilling. She even encouraged us to help her run away. Go find Xian. We came here to persuade our sister to stay by your side." Zhao Xian's fingers twitched, his expression growing increasingly somber. "After all, to convince me and my brother." Xin Weining declared that she liked Xian, but she was forcibly taken by Zhao Sahan. Her words were sincere and deeply moving. What a pitiful act. My brother and I both believed it, not to mention Zhao Han. The next moment, the phone shattered into pieces. Heavy rain began to fall from the sky, accompanied by flashes of lightning and rumbles of thunder. Zhao Sahan pinched Xin Weining's chin and sneered, "Do you like Xian?" Xin Weining trembled, her voice shaking as she spoke. "Zhao Sahan, calm down." Zhao Xian pulled out a rotan whip from somewhere. He lashed it madly toward Xin Weining, one moment after another. "You are mine. Does it hurt? Pain will teach you a lesson." Rainwater mixed with blood flowing all over the ground. Xin Weining screamed sharply. My shoulders trembled as I desperately suppressed the urge to laugh out loud. How could this not be considered a story of a domineering CEO chasing his wife, with both physical and emotional torment? The plot's backlash had turned on me. "Xin Weining, how does it taste?" I looked up, gazing at the full moon in the sky. Today is the 15th, a day for reunion. In my previous life, my brother and I were filled with joy. We came to take Xin Weining home, but in the end, it was like trying to scoop the moon out of water. All in vain. Filled with despair, we died in the bleak autumn rain. In no time, Xin Weining was beaten until her flesh was torn open. It was utterly terrifying. My brother covered my eyes and whispered, "Don't look, it's filthy." I'm not afraid of filth. I only ask that evil be repaid with evil. I pulled my brother's hand away and smiled brightly. "Brother, we must witness their downfall with our own eyes. Will it be more tragic than ours?" My brother touched his right leg and gave a bitter smile. "We'll wait and see." The sound of the whip continued unceasing. This wife abuse drama ended with Shinu Wanning spitting up blood. Zhao Sahan threw down the rattan whip and, flustered, picked up Xin Wanning. "Ning Ning, don't scare me. I didn't mean to. Where's the family doctor? Go get him. If Ning Ning can't be saved, I'll have you all buried with her." Xin Weining, of course, would not die. It's just that her face was disfigured by the whip. It was especially horrifying. Shihan, however, let out a sigh of relief, a dark smile flashing in his eyes. "Ning Ning, only I want you now. Stay by my side immediately." "All right." Xin Wanning was unconscious and couldn't answer. His words. Zhao Sahan turned to me and spoke in a deep voice. "Stay and persuade, Waning. Do well, and you'll be rewarded. I lowered my head in agreement. My brother stepped forward, tears streaming down his face. Brother-in-law, our family must stay together. Zhao Sahan was silent for a moment before saying calmly, You stay too. As my driver, I spoke up at the right moment. Brother-in-law, let's install a surveillance camera at home. A flicker of curiosity flashed in Zhao Sahan's eyes. I explained, Next time sister tries to run away, you'll be the first to know. Zhao Xian's eyes darkened, his thumb stroking Xin Yuan's lips. There won't be a next time. A moment later, Sha Xian lowered his hand and let out a self-mocking laugh. Keep pretending. I lowered my head to hide the hatred in my eyes. Was it really only my brother's and my blood that had stained this villa? When Xin Yuaning woke up, she smashed all the mirrors. My face. My face. Nanny Wu couldn't stand to watch any longer. Miss, be careful. Don't hurt yourself. As she spoke, she moved forward to intervene. I grabbed Wu Ma and shook my head. Xin Wanning suddenly turned around, roaring as she charged at me. It's all because of you. Why did you betray me? Why didn't you follow the plan? I had asked that question too in her previous life. Shenu Wantoning covered her face and wept. Sister, I'm afraid Zhao will find out. I swung my arm wide and slapped Xin Waning hard. With a thud, Shen Waning fell to the ground, her face full of shock. I squeezed out 2 tears and choked out, Sister, snap out of it. If Sho Sahan finds out you ran away, he will never let us off. Shen Waning's eyes widened in fury. How is that possible? Our plan was so meticulous. In reality, the plan was far from meticulous, even from the very beginning. Failure was inevitable. Zhao Sahan had known everything all along, but the outcome for me and my brother could have been changed. In our previous life, we were pushed into the abyss by Xin Waning's own hands. Even Shinu Waning never thought of saving us. She wasn't begging Zhao Shihan to spare us. She was begging for the forced love plot. Fortunately, in this life, we managed to save ourselves from the edge of the abyss. I sighed, my eyes filled with sorrow. Zhao Sahan found out long ago. Everything was just his tactic of letting the enemy off to catch them later. Sister, you were right. Zhao Sahan never loved you. He only treats you as a plaything like a cat or a dog. Xin Waning shook her head frantically, instinctively refuting. No, he loves me. The violent movement squeezed her wounds, causing fresh blood to seep out like a broken doll. I stared at Xin Waning, a fog of confusion swirling in my heart. Is Xin Waning truly the female lead? Does simply winning the male lead's love count as a happy ending? Can this kind of love even be considered love? And Wu approached and whispered. Mississippi the master called and asked, You attend the auction tonight? Xin Waning wiped away her tears. Her face flushed. He loves me. Tonight, he will announce that I am the future Mrs. Zhao. After my death, I witnessed Xin Yuan's unexpected life. Because of my brothers and my death, Xin Waning was overwhelmed with grief. Zhao Sahan, burdened by guilt, insisted on taking Xin Waning to the auction. Snap a picture of the 10-carat pink diamond, get down on both knees, and propose in public, without even wiping the tears from her face. Xin Waning happily extended her hand to put it on coquettishly, saying, Shan, you mustn't lose your temper like that again. I'm scared. The two embraced each other deeply. My brother and I hadn't even been dead for 24 hours. The bodies might still be warm. Xin Waning and Zhou Sahan were already lost in passion, oblivious to the world. I watched Xin Waning carefully applying makeup at the vanity table. Half a bottle of foundation has been used, yet it still can't cover the terrifying whip marks. I'm curious, how does Zhao Sahan psychologically accept such a Xin Yuaning in front of others? Is the bond truly stronger than gold? Before entering, Xin Waning gripped my wrist nervously and asked, Sang, do I look good? To be honest, as the female lead of the novel, Xin Waning's appearance was beyond reproach, delicate and innocent, with dewy almond-shaped eyes that inexplicably stirred a desire to protect her. She was the most beautiful woman I had ever seen. But now, mottled scars meandered from the corner of her eye all the way to the edge of her lips. Fierce and terrifying, I slowly scanned the room and said calmly, Very attractive. Shen Weining breathed a sigh of relief, lifted her bright red skirt, and pushed open the banquet hall door. The bustling crowd fell silent. Zhao Sahan stepped forward and took Shen Weining's hand. Ning ning. You look beautiful tonight. Holy, what kind of kink is this? President Zhao. The deathly silent crowd suddenly burst into laughter. Zhao Sahan frowned deeply and scolded sharply. If you don't want to die, shut up. Shen Weining's pale face regained a bit of color, but I noticed that Zhao Sahan's tightly clenched hand had loosened slightly. I wandered around aimlessly, whereas Xian, I remember, he was supposed to come to this banquet as well. I ran halfway across the venue. The ill-fitting high heels had rubbed my heels raw. Every step I took was searing, with pain. But what I feared more was that no one could keep Zhao Sahan in check until by the fountain I caught sight of Shi drinking alone. The moonlight was bright, casting its glow on Xia Xin's sharply defined profile. Desolate and bleak, a look of one wounded by love. I took a deep breath and spoke softly. Mr. Xia, I have a deal to discuss. With you. Xia Zhen was surprised, raising an eyebrow. Are you Shen Wan's sister? You look very much alike. I nodded and asked in return, Mr. Xia, do you want my sister? I can help you take back Shen Weining. The setting can help Shen Yuaning. Likewise, I can also help you. But Xia Xin's gaze was heavy, and he did not speak. The only sound in my ears was the splashing of the water column falling to the ground. Sweat seeped through my back. The cold wind blew, pressing the long skirt against her body. It felt sticky and unbearable. After a long silence, Xia chuckled lightly. How do you plan to help me take down Zhou Xian? The weight in her heart suddenly lifted. I spoke the words I had rehearsed in my mind several times. Has the SIA Corporation gotten involved in a wrongful death lawsuit? Xia Zion's expression shifted slightly. His tone serious. Miss Shen, be careful with your words. Ignoring the threat in Xia's eyes, I continued on my own. The new drug isn't the problem. It's been tampered with. The witness had no choice. Her sister was kidnapped and held in apartment 404. Building a happiness community. Xian tapped his fingers against the cup, enunciating each word clearly. Are you saying that Zhao Xian was the one who kidnapped her? How did you know? His deep eyes were full of inquiry. I spoke the words I had rehearsed over and over in my mind. My brother is Zhao's driver. I know Zhao Han's whereabouts like the back of my hand. You'll know I'm not lying once you take a look. In the original book, this lawsuit was the turning point for the SIA Corporation. The SIA Corporation lost the lawsuit. The new drug became a poison, and a century of reputation was destroyed overnight. The stock plummeted, nearly leading to bankruptcy. This set the stage for Zhao Sahan's acquisition of the Xia Group. Xia couldn't possibly be unaware. The Xia family couldn't afford to lose. Xia stared at me for a long moment, raising an eyebrow. What are you after? I smiled. My sister likes you. I hope lovers can finally be united. Xian chuckled lightly, his eyes dark and unreadable. I don't like using emotions as bargaining chips. You can name another condition. I hesitated for a moment before tentatively asking. What about the 5% stake? It's enough for my brother and me to be wealthy for 3 generations. Xia Shuren nodded and said, all right. By the time we returned to the banquet hall, it was already nearing its end. The large pink diamond lay quietly in the display case, waiting for its owner. Zhao Shihan turned his head and smiled gently. Do you like it? I'll buy it for you. Shen Weining lowered her head, her voice muffled. Whatever. Zhao Sahan gently tapped Shenuan's nose, his tone full of affection. All right, I'll buy it for you. I watched coldly. Zhao Sahan raised his bidding paddle 10 times. He insisted on spending the money himself, indirectly, telling everyone present, Shen Weining is the one he holds closest to his heart. The crowd buzzed with discussion. President Xiao is truly generous. For a woman like this, isn't he ashamed? Zhao Sahan's hand holding the ring trembled. His half-squatting posture froze. Shenuaning sneered. I want TT marry you. Zhao Zion's face was as cold as frost, and he said gluily, you can only be mine. I raised an eyebrow. With such confident love, are you still not self-assured? What kind of provocation should I use this time? Shah Sahan forced Shin, wanting to put on the ring. No embrace. No blessings. Only the crowd drew a sharp synchronized breath. Miss Shin sang. This is from Mr. Sia. The waiter opened his palm. 2 adhesive bandages came into view. I looked towards Sia Shuren at the door. He raised his glass to me from afar. Silently, mouthing words. My partner. Keep your step steady. I took it and nodded in. Thanks, Shaosen. Don't ever let anyone deceive you again in this lifetime. Live. Well, Shin Weining has gotten what she wanted. The title of Ms. Zhou is finally hers. Shin Weining, however, was not happy. She went mad, smashing everything in sight. I did nothing wrong. It's Shou Sahan, who refuses to let me go. Why do they say I'm reaching above my station? The cracked phone screen froze on the bright red news headline. Shihan proposes to a dinosaur woman. The comments below were sharp, vicious, and unbearable to read. It's a stark contrast to the previous life where the screen was filled with praise. To be honest, I don't agree with attacking someone's appearance. But if the target-ish and wanting, well, it feels pretty satisfying. Aunt Wu was frantic. Oh, that vase is so expensive. The latest model phone. The jade necklace. Sang. Go and talk some sense into your sister. I quickly crouched down and grabbed a handful from the ground. Relax. It's not our money anyway. I tightly held Auntie Wu's hand. Take this gold ring as this month's wages. Aunt Wu panicked. This won't do, I said, with a serious expression. Consider it as show science compensation for your medical expenses. Your forehead is still swollen to this day. I pressed Aunt Wu's hand firmly, leaving no room for refusal. The next moment, the door was pulled open. Zhao Sahan rushed in anxiously, grabbed Shin Weining, and roared. What did you say to Cyan? How was my bargaining chip rescued by someone? Shin Weining was confused. What bargaining chip? Zhao Shihan sneered. Last night, you and Sia were exchanging flirtatious glances. Today, Shai snatched Naya Xiao away. I suddenly understood. So, the witness's sister was Naya. Shai acted quite quickly. Shin Weining's face turned pale. How is that possible? The script wasn't written this way. It wasn't like this. Zhao Sahan tightened his grip on Shin Yuan's wrist, gritting his teeth. Shin Weining, you've let me down so much. Shin Weining suddenly looked up, pointing at her brother and me, and cried out through her tears. It was you. You were the ones who told on me. A sharp slap echoed. Blood trickled from the corner of Shin Yuaning's mouth. Her right cheek swollen and red. Zhao Sahan's arm emerged intimately as he roared. Enough! They've only been here for 2 days. What could they possibly know? Shin Yuaning, how have you become like this? Shifting blame and distorting the truth. I don't even recognize you anymore. My brother looked coldly at Shannon, a flicker of satisfaction flashing in his eyes. From a timeline perspective, my brother, and I certainly have no alibi, but we are people who have died once. All of this was bought with 1 eye, 1 leg, and 2 lives. Besides, isn't the whole point of these cliché CEO dramas all about misunderstandings? Shin Weining should have known that Zhao Shan's chest heaved violently as he scolded harshly to atone for your mistake. Go steal Zion's latest technology from me. I was taken aback. Isn't there still several hundred chapters of physical and emotional torment in between? How do we fast forward to the ending? Shin Weining's eyes reened at the corners as she stubbornly lifted her head. I won't go. Ha! In her previous life, it had been the same. Zhao Sahan sneered coldly, gripping Shin Yuan's neck as he spoke, with venomous malice. Do you love Xiao Xian that much? Then choose for Xiai, death or bankruptcy. Zhao Sahan clapped his hands, and a person was dragged in. The flesh was mangled, barely recognizable as that of a man. Shin Yuaning screamed, shrinking back in fear. Zhao Sahan, however, gripped Shin Weining's hand and plunged the knife in again and again. Do you know who this is? The youngest son of a GI family, held dear in the palm of their hands. But last night, he actually mocked you, saying you weren't worthy of me. What does it matter if the GI family has served as officials for generations? With just 1 word from me, Plenty of people would willingly take the blame for me. Warning. How many strikes do you think Xian can endure? The person on the ground stopped struggling and writhing, blood spreading to my feet. Mother, who had long since fainted on the ground. I couldn't control my trembling. Human life as worthless as grass. Warmth spread through my right hand. I turned my head and met my brother's calm gaze. Sang. Don't be afraid. Your brother is here. It was like a tranquil spring pond. It brings an inexplicable sense of peace. In the previous life, it wasn't so bloody. Zhao Sahan grew to hate Shen Wanning. Shen Wanning begged for mercy and reluctantly agreed in humiliation. In this life, Shen Wanning stared at the blood staining her hands. She couldn't stop retching. Zhao Sihan's expression grew increasingly grim. I did all of this for you. Wanning let me down again. Shen Wanning trembled, her voice tinged with fear. All right, I'll go. Don't hurt Xia. Yet her eyes held a barely concealed joy. I understood why. After annexing the SI group, the Zhao Xian family became the sole dominant force. They monopolized the global pharmaceutical market, became the world's wealthiest, ruling over both the legitimate and underworld sectors. What's more, the day Xian committed suicide was the wedding day of Xin Yuning and Zhao Sahan. I think Xin Yuning was happy, too. She no longer had to be forced to dance in bars. She no longer had to kneel in the pouring rain. Skipping the part about donating a kidney to Zhe Han's white moonlight. After marriage, Zhao Sahan was gentle, considerate, and understanding. He was the perfect 24 filial husband. The hard one, happiness and fulfillment compared to the shortcut of a side path. It's not a difficult choice. Zhao Sahan stroked Xin Waning's hair with a pained heart, coaxing her in a gentle tone. Be good. If we're putting on a show, we might as well go all the way. Amid the scattered fragments, Zhao Sahan accurately picked up the only intact ashtray. Xin Yuning closed her eyes, ready to face her fate. The next day, supporting Xin Yuning, who was wrapped head to toe in bandages, I knocked on the Xia family's door. Xia Shuren, still blurry-eyed, circled Xin Wanning a few times, looking him over, cosplaying a mummy. Xin Wanning spat out a mouthful of water and started coughing violently. After a long moment, she finally snapped out of it and spoke, with a hint of grievance. Ain, how could you say that? I went through so much trouble to escape and find you. Ain, I'm so afraid that Zhao Sahan will catch me and take me back. Can I stay at your place? Xia Xian's expression remained unreadable as he gave a faint nod. All right. After Xian left, Shen Yuning tilted her nose upward and snorted disdainfully. Still just a simp. I just waved my hand, and he comes wagging his tail so cheap, but I had a vague feeling that something was off. Sai's reaction was too calm, as if everything was within his expectations. Shenong, what are you looking at? Pour me a glass of water. I'm dying of thirst. Shen Wanning pouted discontentedly and sneered. No matter how much you stare, Xia Shin will never be yours. They will only love me. I played along and praised. Yeah, you're absolutely right. In the center of the living room, there is a large group photo. Xian, around 16 or 17 years old, is wearing a hospital gown, sitting in the middle, pale-faced, yet with eyes that sparkled brightly, staring intently at the camera. I was 16. When my parents died in a car accident, I developed depression and spent some time in a psychiatric hospital. His tone was flat, glossing over 2 years of excruciating pain in just 2 sentences. The familiar scent of sandalwood filled my nostrils. I turned my head and met Xian's deep, penetrating gaze. I'm sorry for bringing up painful memories. After a long moment, Xia chuckled lightly. Ignorance is no sin. You don't need to apologize. I should be thanking you. The Xia family won the lawsuit, and in the process, we dealt a heavy blow to Zhao Sahan. I've drafted the contract. Sign it now. I froze for a moment until Xia Shen spread that equity transfer contract in front of me. So, am I really going to make a sudden leap to success? I held the pen, hesitating. Are you really giving it to me? Xia Shuren curled his lips into a smile and nodded. Pleasure doing business with you. My ocean view mansion, my seafood feast, I no longer have to be a corporate slave, without holidays. With a flourish of the pen, I elegantly signed my final stroke. You're left-handed. My hand trembled, and the pen fell onto the coffee table. What does signing with the left hand not count? Zion's gaze was heavy, with turbulent undercurrents swirling in his eyes. It counts. Of course. It counts. We need to calculate this properly. Xian picked up the contract and turned to leave. His steps were hurried, his figure unsteady. No way. 5%. Surely. It's not enough to make him this upset. Xin Weining stayed at the SI residence for a week. Xia Shuren attended to her every need, handling everything with meticulous care. He even cooked for her himself, trying all sorts of ways to please Xin Weining. Shuren, do I really have to eat this? Xin Weining stared at the dark, unappetizing scrambled eggs, with tomatoes before her. Her expression conflicted. Xian shook his head gently and spoke softly. You've lost weight from hunger at the Zhao family. Come on, eat more. A spoonful of scrambled eggs with tomatoes was shoved right up to Xin Yuan's mouth. There was no room for refusal. The next moment, the door was knocked. President Xia, Professor Zhang has brought the special medicine. He wants to see you to discuss tomorrow's pharmaceutical innovation. Association matters. Xiaxi sighed regretfully, put down the spoon, and instructed, finish everything on this table. Be good. I'm going to the study to discuss some matters. I'll be back soon. Xin Weining stared at the charcoal black potatoes, blood-red chicken feet, and half-corpse raw marinated dishes, feeling like crying, but having no tears left, only Xin Yuaning. And I remained in the living room. Xinwan muttered to herself, when will such days ever come to an end? I poured tea for Xin Yuaning, and spoke up at the right moment. President Zhao called. He wants you to secure the new drug technology today. He wants to win at tomorrow night's association event. By the way, my brother mentioned that President Zhao's first love is returning to the country soon. Xin Weining shrank back, her voice trembling as she spoke. No, in her previous life, she was Zhao Sahan's white moonlight. Yet, she made Xin Weining suffer a great deal. Xin Yuaning stood up, staring intently at the tightly closed study door. Ain. Don't worry. I will never let Zhao's sign harm you. I was speechless for a moment. Why does Xin Weining always act as if she has no choice but to be righteous and solemn for Husake? Isn't she clear about it herself? In the evening, Xin Yuaning ordered a table full of takeout. A few bottles of red wine were opened. She wore a red short skirt, her wavy hair cascading down, her eyes sparkling with charm. Ashen celebrating the successful trial of your new drug. Xia Shuren took it and drank it all in one gulp. A moment later, Xia Xin's eyes grew unfocused, and an unnatural flush crept across his face. Xin Weining pushed me and said in a low voice, take him back to the bedroom. I'll go get the medicine and the documents. I bit my lip, my face pale with fear. What if Xia sews us up? Sister, I'm scared. I don't want to go. Xin Weining's face showed impatience. Don't be ungrateful. I've already given you one. Besides, if anything happens, I'll naturally have Zhao Shihan save you. Xin Weining pushed me aside and hurried upstairs. I leaned against Xiaosen's chest, a smirk curling at the corner of my mouth. Xin Yuaning, may you achieve immediate success. I helped Xian up and placed him in the bathtub in the bedroom. The running water soaked through Xian's white shirt, faintly revealing the contours of his abdominal muscles. Sion's Adam's apple bobbed, a low moan escaping his lips. I averted my gaze. Why do the male and female leads in novels always use this kind of medicine? It's so embarrassing. Cold water washed over him again and again. Xia's forehead was no longer burning hot. I breathed a sigh of relief. But, when I looked down, I met Xian's teasing eyes. Sang, what are you doing? My wrist was held firmly. I swallowed my saliva, my expression unchanged. Xin Weining drugged you. I'm saving you. She also stole your new medicine and documents. I paused, then continued. Don't foolishly offer your heart anymore. Xin Weining doesn't love you. She only sees you as a pawn. Xiaxi remained silent, pulling me closer. Then why is Sang helping me? Does she like me? Warm breath sprayed against my neck. The water in the bathtub rippled, spilling a handful of cold water, soaking my long skirt, quenching the fire deep within my body. I know you won't stop Shin Waning. I'll help you deal another fatal blow. By then, Shin Waning will naturally change her mind. I heard myself say, the original book setting is hard to change. No matter what, Zhao Sahan is determined to marry Shin Waning. What about this devoted second male lead? Will I be cast as the vicious female antagonist? I can't afford to take that risk. I can only do my best to leverage the female lead's irresistible charm to help myself, and in the process Savine as well. Sia Shuren was stunned for a moment before letting go of my hand. His long, narrow eyelashes were damp, with droplets drooping weakly, making it impossible for me to discern his expression. After a long pause, Sia Xian stepped out of the bathroom, tone indifferent. Then, I wish us a pleasant cooperation. The next evening, I accompanied Xia Shuren to the association. At the banquet, Shin Waning sat beside Zhao Shihan. They leaned against each other, utterly absorbed in their affection. Good days have been enjoyed enough. Bad days are about to arrive. Zhao Shihan stood up, straightened his suit, and confidently stepped onto the stage. Everyone, our Zhao Corporation has developed a new technological drug. Now allow me to make the introduction. Shin Waning stood, with her spine straight, nose held high. Her face seemed to say, "See, isn't my man amazing? Envious? Jealous?" An exquisite PowerPoint presentation began to scroll, accompanying Zhao Xian's impassioned speech. The audience fell into a dead silence. Everyone exchanged glances and began murmuring among themselves. Isn't this the new drug that Sia Corporation just launched? The core technology is exactly the same. Is this stealing someone else's idea? Shin Waning jumped out, hands on her hips. What nonsense are you talking? This is our own idea. Zhao Xian's secretary jogged up to the stage and leaned in close to whisper in Zhao Sahan's ear. Xia chuckled softly, setting down his teacup. Release the new product just 1 second before the association meeting begins. Send a reminder email to all participants. Well done. Zhao Sahan stole it for nothing. I shook my head. It's useful. Xian looked puzzled. What use? The clock struck 8. The PowerPoint suddenly changed, playing a video. In the footage, Zhao Sahan was holding Shin Waning's hand, stabbing someone to death. The noble woman beside them screamed, "My son!" Then, without catching another breath, he collapsed straight to the ground. On the podium, Ji Chong stood up furiously, his eyes red with rage. "Zhao Sahan, you better give me an explanation." Camera flashes flickered incessantly. The scene descended into chaos. Shin Waning was knocked to the ground, crying out in pain. Xia held me tightly, pushing through the crowd. "Be careful. Let's go first." In the banquet hall, Zhao Sahan's words played on a loop. What does it matter if the GI family has served as officials for generations? With just one word from me, plenty of people will take the blame for me. The reporters were filled with righteous indignation. Do capitalists think they can get away with anything just because they have money? What's so great about having a few lousy bucks? Zhao Xian's face turned pale, and a rare look of panic flashed across it. How could a rat in the gutter ever see the light of day? To make it public is like dry wood meeting a blazing fire. It won't stop until everything is burned to ashes. That very night, Zhao Seihan and Shin Waning were taken away by the police. Shin Yuning struggled and roared, "How dare you tie us up? This world was created for us. What do you think you are?" No one paid her any attention. Everyone thought she had lost her mind. Xia Xian tapped his slender fingers on the steering wheel, his tone laced with mockery. "Killing someone won't save Shin Waning. Is this what you meant by bringing her back to me?" My palms were sweating. I forced a smile. Evil will be repaid with evil. Isn't that right? Young Master Xia is not an unreasonable person. Xia Zhen's expression darkened. And what about Zhao Shihan? There is one thing he said that was right. There are plenty of people willing to take the blame for him. What will you do if he makes a comeback? Volunteer 44. Do you even value your own life? I froze. Who did you say I am? Volunteer 44. Xia Shen tightened his grip on my wrist, gritting his teeth. Still don't want to admit it. Is knowing me that embarrassing? I instinctively retorted. No, it's just Xian's eyes glimmered. with fragmented light. You'd better have a good reason. It's just that in the original story, during those 2 years spent in the mental hospital, it was Shin Waning who took care of him. But in reality, Shin Yuning pleaded with me. Sang. The academic pressure in senior year is just too overwhelming. This volunteer service credit can help me get directly admitted to Tsinghua University. Anyway, you won't be able to get in through exams. So, you go in my place. We look so much alike. No one will notice. Just use the weekends. Actually, I wanted to refuse, but a voice in my head tempted me. Go on. She's your sister. It's only right to help her. As if bewitched, I agreed. I met a middle school girl who was driven by her parents to the point of jumping off a building. I met a 40-year-old man with the intellect of a 7-year-old. I met Cyan, who uses self-harm to escape reality. It felt like I was seeing myself at 7 years old. When I lost my parents, only then did I realize I am actually sick too, rather than being a volunteer. I am more like a patient receiving free treatment countless days and nights. Sashi and I comforted each other. With my left hand, I covered the white wall with drawings of sunflowers. Sashi, we will always see the sunlight. Later, C.S. Shuren, and I finally walked out of that dampness. But in the written plot, the one accompanying Shiai was Shin Waning. It's not me, Shin sang. But now, C.S. Shuren looked into my eyes with a firm gaze. Number 44. Why did you disappear for so many years? I froze once again. Number 44. Isn't that Shin Yuning? Xian furrowed his brow. Before I met you, there was always a voice in my mind telling me that Shin Yuning was the volunteer. Number 44 I had been searching for all along. I pursued Shin Yuning mechanically, like a puppet, without a soul. After meeting you, the thin mist that clouded my vision is cleared. It feels as if I am truly living in this world. Thus, in this lifetime, C.S. Shuren gained his own independent consciousness. I changed the plot. The characters in the play have found themselves again. This time, I held Xian's hand in return. I just didn't know how to explain my sudden departure. All these years, the corners of Xian's eyes reened just like many years ago. It's heartbreaking. A lifetime is long. You can tell me slowly. The phone ringtone suddenly rang out. I snapped back to reality and awkwardly pushed Siashin away. The phone connected, and my brother couldn't hide his excitement. Sang. I found it. The weight in my chest suddenly lifted. The quiet moonlight streamed through the car window, falling over me. I chuckled lightly. Didn't you ask me what to do about Zhao Sahan? Xia's eyes darkened as he spoke in a low voice. No matter what happens, I'll be here. A warm current flowed through my heart. I fanned my stinging eyes. Let's go find some leverage. Leverage to nail her. I never thought opening my eyes. I could see the radiant morning sun bursting forth the sea. Breeze carried the morning's slight chill. It wrapped around me. I never expected Cyan to be so shameless. What body cream are you talking about? We're not even going out today. Xian withdrew his hand, a faint mist gathering in his eyes. I pretended not to see it. How was Zhao Sahan sentenced? Xia Xian straightened up and snorted coldly. Death penalty. But Sang, how did you know the location of Zhao Sahan's human experimentation? I lifted Zion's chin and raised an eyebrow. Wanna know? Beg me. Cyan's earlobes flushed red. His Adam's apple bobbed. Can I beg for one more thing? I blinked. What is it? Cyan pulled out a box from somewhere. Inside was a cup full of diamond rings. Please marry me. Seagulls cried out. The mist and clouds dispersed. My voice was Horsero. You still have secret savings. Cyan. No. It's not like that. Let me explain. That night, I received a call from my brother. Shin Waning isn't dead. She insists that Zhou Cyan forced her into it. On the day of the trial, she even boasted that she is the main female lead, the master of the world. She was declared mentally ill. I looked at the full moon and spoke softly. Brother, happy Mid-Autumn Festival. Brother was stunned for a moment, then chuckled. Happy Mid-Autumn Festival. Sang. Such a beautiful moon. It has witnessed both my brothers and my death now. It also bears witness to our rebirth. I withdrew my thoughts and spoke calmly. The Asai family has a psychiatric hospital. Take Shin waning there. As long as you live, be prepared to atone for your sins. Take a good look at this world that belongs to you. It is slowly revealing its true form. By the way, Ewu asked me to thank you. The cardiac surgeon you found is excellent. Now her daughter can eat 3 bowls of rice in 1 meal. That's wonderful. Everyone is fine. Xian grabbed my wrist and ended the call. Sang. It's my turn to eat after hearing the 2 stories above. What are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comment section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you like this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.